what is the word embodiment? What does that word mean? So I've been hearing the word embodiment for a long time, and I don't know, I just kind of like glossed over it. I didn't really know what it meant, didn't really care about it. And it wasn't until probably a year ago, more than a year ago, a year and a half ago, when I started working with a chiropractor who does energy work, and I started to become aware of the information that my body stored and stores. And I was just starting to become curious about, wow, I didn't realize that like particular memory could be stored in my hips, or certain past pain could be stored in my knees, or that in general, like memories are stored in the body. I didn't know all of that. So it was really eye-opening for me to experience that through the eyes of an energy healer. And then I went on to become an energy healer and a Reiki master teacher, and was guided to begin working with people who've experienced childhood trauma. Not even intentionally, it just happened. I think the things that we've experienced in life are the things that we are here to teach others how to heal. And so I never set out to work with people with trauma specifically, but they found me, and it is something that I've been called to do. So I'm not shying away from that calling anymore, even though it has scared me in the past to claim the role of a trauma worker, or of helping people heal from their trauma, because that's a big role. I don't take that lightly. So anyway, I've been guided to not only have my own experience with understanding what my body has to tell me, but now to help others understand what their body has to tell them. So embodiment to me, and this is not the Merriam-Webster's definition, but embodiment to me is really living inside your body from the perspective of not running away from how it feels. Because for most of my life, I was pretty much a floating head. Like, I didn't want to feel uncomfortable. I didn't want to feel aches and pains. I took aspirin when I had a headache. I took Midol when I had period cramps. And it wasn't until I did a lot of physical healing, through my autoimmunity, that I realized that, well, number one, food is medicine. And if you're not eating the right food, you're going to feel crappy and tired. And so you can change your food and change your life that way. But then the deeper levels of healing that I've done since then is that if you're feeling a certain way, like let's say you have a headache, there's also an emotional root to it. Like, it could be that you're dehydrated. It could be physical. It could be lack of water. So in that sense, it could be related to diet, and it could also have something to do with lifestyle. Are you getting enough sleep? But if you have like persistent migraines, there's an emotional root behind that. And that's where it's really important to listen to your body's cues. So I wanted to create this video, one, as a way for you to see and understand what embodiment is, number one, because I didn't understand what it was. And number two, sort of give you some pointers on how to go about being embodied, like going from somebody who lives in their head to somebody who can understand and embrace and hold all this wisdom in the body. And so what I do, and I have several practices, but one of the practices I do is I just sit and kind of get into like a meditative kind of place. So right now I'm just sitting on a yoga mat. You could sit on a pillow, you could sit on the floor, you could sit in a chair. I like sitting on the floor. I think sitting on the floor is, you're closer to the earth, so you're going to be a little bit more grounded. And I start by holding my right hand on my heart space and my left hand on my lower stomach, sacral region. And I just breathe. I just start by breathing in through my nose and out through my mouth. And I breathe deeper with each breath. So I breathe all the way in down to the base of my spine. And I'm very aware of where my breath is. So sometimes I have to work at it and really keep taking more breaths until I can get that breath down to the base of my spine. And then I'll just sit and do this for 5-10 minutes, however long I feel called to. And I'll just be like tuning in to what's happening in my body. Am I tense anywhere? Are my shoulders tense? Are my legs tense? Am I feeling pain anywhere? Am I feeling uncomfortable? And I would invite you to do that. And then if you're feeling uncomfortable anywhere in your body, I would invite you to ask it what it needs. And don't just ask it what it needs from the sense of like, oh, you need a massage, or oh, you need you need to go take a Midol, or I don't know why I'm stuck on Midol, Excedrin. I don't know the names of painkillers anymore because I haven't taken them in years, but painkiller. And then, yeah, so I would invite you to ask a little bit deeper, what does your body want from you? What does it have to tell you? So I'll give you some examples. There have been times where I've tuned in to my throat. I have hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's, an autoimmune disorder where my body attacks my thyroid. And in tuning in with my thyroid gland through this kind of breath work, just breathing and tuning in. And when I say tuning in, that's just really bringing my awareness to my throat. So I'm just like concentrating. I usually have my eyes closed, and it's like I'm imagining that I'm just looking at my thyroid. It might be helpful for you to imagine that you're either drawing your eyeballs down there to that area of your body, or you're looking at yourself from the outside. But just draw your awareness to that part of you that's uncomfortable, and then just ask, what do you need from me right now? And then listen. And this is the hardest part, is the listening, is like literally just breathing and waiting, breathing and waiting and waiting. And you might not hear anything, but you might hear something. You might hear a little voice inside you that's got some information about what you're needing to do. All right, not sure what happened with that first video, got cut off, but maybe that was a sign to wrap up. So I'll wrap up by saying that it can be really scary to listen to the body, to tune in. And you might not even realize that you're scared, but think about all the times that you avoided quieting down. Think about times where you may have avoided doing yoga, where your mind was like, oh, I really want to go to that class. I really want to do yoga teacher training, or I want to get, into yoga. Or maybe you've been interested in breath work, or maybe you've been interested in dance. Maybe you've been interested in some other sort of form of physical movement that's not just running or not just exercising, but it's meditative in some way. Well, it's, I would say, very likely, if not 100% guaranteed, that any resistance that you're experiencing to doing those things is not laziness. It's not lack of willpower. It's resistance from your subconscious that doesn't really want you to go back in and re-experience any pain or experience any trauma that you may have stored in the body. And I'm not speaking just about people who have like big T trauma, like severe trauma, but really anything that you've experienced that's been painful, your body has stored it away, and really would prefer to not have to bring it up again. So resistance that comes in the form of avoiding slowing down and moving the body in intentional ways, and simply just doing like meditation is another example. Avoiding meditation is a very good sign that there's a part of you, the subconscious part of you, that does not want to be aware of what comes up. And that was me. That was me for a very, very long time. and I ran away from my own body and lived as a floating head for most of my life. And so I'm sharing with you from my experience that eventually, sooner or later, your body is going to get louder and louder and speak to you in terms that you will understand through illness and pain. And then I hope you listen. I hope then you're willing to listen and don't numb it in whatever way is most preferable to you. But your body is really crying out to be heard, and the resistance that you're experiencing in the mind in terms of avoidance and putting it off is only delaying what is most necessary and most valuable and most healing. So hopefully this is helpful. Sending you guys so much love and honoring you and holding space for you. Talk to you later.